Okay, we're going to welcome you back to the Principals Podcast. Over the last several weeks, we had a strong focus on athletics, and it's been exciting. Last week, we wrapped up kind of a fall season with having the captains along with Mitch Hewitt the week prior because of the celebration. Mr. Heim and I were able to attend the parade. Mrs. Bondi was attending it from afar in spirit. It was extraordinary, and that's not the purpose of the podcast, but it was just a great focus on our core value of community. It felt like the Maple Festival parade. So many people came out, and it was just awesome to see. Um, it was a beautiful day. It was a little chilly, but people were coming together for positivity, and which has been awesome. And so that's kind of the focus of today's podcast is kind of wrapping up the first semester. Um, Talking about a little bit of the things that I guess since I didn't tell this in advance, minus the extraordinary experience on December 3rd, I want you both to think about something this year that was really positive for you coming into the semester. So I'll let you think about that as I talk. Um, but I want to before we do that, I just want to take a moment to tell you that on Monday and Tuesday of next week, we're following our traditional schedule. Monday's a red day, so there's late start. It's periods 2, 4, and 6, and then Tuesday is our black day schedule 1, 3, 5, and 7. Students are expected to come to school. It's a regular school day. There's no like anything screwy where like I only show up for the classes I have tests in. That's not the case. It's a school day, so students are to report to school. Classes will be in session, and inside of each class, everything's a little bit different. Since we're 8 to 12 building, there's going to be regular lessons. There's going to be project presentations. There will also be Brian Bandera joining us apparently. Uh,
it's a new season. I haven't been on a single podcast yet, so I need to make one guest appearance.
okay, so wow, this is somehow he perched himself in here, which is cool. We're just wrapping up the year, so I need you to think about something positive, minus December 3rd state championship, because the first thing that comes to mind for all of us is that we have been in school every single day without any hiccups, which has been great. So um, next week again, red day, black day. But now we're going to wrap up this podcast with some moments of gratitude for this school year. Anyone can go first.
I think for me, the biggest thing has been developing relationships with students. Um, I don't know if I'm supposed to share this, but I don't think I'm not allowed to share this. But during my final interview with Dr. Hanlon, being hired into the district this year as an assistant principal, I asked him what his main goal for assistant principal at the high school is. And he said to develop relationship with students. And that's powerful because that's not like to heighten our test scores to, obviously we want all of those things too, but at that moment, it's like you realize you're on the same page. And I've had some very powerful meetings with different families and kids this year that have really, just been impactful to me. And I love working with all of these students. So like, I think the moments that I reflect on most in this first half of the school year coming to a close are those moments where I'm at a point now where I know a lot of the students and have developed those relationships. And, you know, I'm still going to tell them they need to stop doing what they're doing if they're not doing something correctly. but it's become a very, very positive atmosphere and relationship with everyone. So I appreciate that part of it the most, probably.
I think we all would concur with that. We have, as we we have like adopted pets here in the main office. They come by every single day just to say hello, grab a piece of candy, or just want to hang out, which is great to develop those relationships. Mr. Hyam.
Bondi mentioned it. It's not about the test scores, but I must say it is encouraging to see all the hard work actually do pay off. This year, we had phenomenal results in all areas from our students. Stems back to the great work that our teachers are doing in PLCs. And Marie calls me the data ninja. I do enjoy this. I do enjoy looking at that. Bondi's right. It's about the relationships, and that's where it starts. But it is exciting to see the positive results and what this high school is doing in the classroom during the time that our students in there. And it needs to be highlighted. And I'm very grateful for the work that everyone has done for our students.
And Mr. Bandera, as much as you might be across the street, you're in the building a lot and you have a new role. So things that you kind of appreciate throughout the course of this semester.
Yeah, I've really, so the last, what was it now, 5-6 years now, I've been, at Chardon High School in my glass box. And I've enjoyed that, and I've gotten to make lots of great relationships with the students, the families, the teachers over there. And I still get to be a part of those, and I enjoy those, and I love those relationships. But it's also really neat for me to see that there's more than just Chardon High School. And there's Chardon Local Schools is a big district. I get to, I've been the substitute administrator at Park Elementary School this year, and I've been in Park probably about 4 times all throughout my years here at Chardon. I've been in there more this year than other years. I forget about Munson sometimes. Sorry, it's far away, but I try to get over there every once in a while. I get over to the middle school, and my office is around kindergartners and preschoolers, and that's pretty cool to see these students. And and I look at them and I just imagine, like, having those meetings I have with the high school students and saying, okay, we've I do a lot of IEP meetings. So the one section of the IEP says target date for graduation is, and I look at these students here at the who are in preschool now, and I think, wow, their target date for graduation is going to come up one day. And it's kind of neat to think that how much love they have for school right now, and how much they enjoy coming to school, and they enjoy the playtime and the jumping room, and all these different things that they're doing. And then seeing our students who are at Auburn Career Center, and they're fixing cars and building houses, and it's how quick that time goes. So I'm really enjoying seeing these different aspects of the district that I haven't necessarily seen from Chardon High School.
Yeah, that's really cool. We appreciate you joining us today. It's really, really cool because this was supposed to happen like 45 minutes ago, but life happened. I want to give.
He was in a meeting at that time, anyways.
I want to give as much as I agree with everything that was been shared. I want to talk about the boots that have been on the ground, and I really want to give my appreciation for all of the transitions that our teachers had to go through in the last year and a half. And coming into the school year, we really focused on trying to nurture ourselves back to normalcy. And we have faced, whether masks or option or whatever the current state is, and Corona and that, and you name it. But Mr. Heim mentioned it, Mrs. Bondi mentioned it, Mr. Bandera. It's like we can have great relationships with kids, and see them, and we feel like grandparents, when you bring the kids over and you're like, okay, that's fine, go away, and then we love them up. But the teachers are the ones that are with them for 7.5 hours a day in various periods, and they're the ones creating and deploying various learning experiences, and engaging and really applying the standards in which we hold true to our learning every single day. So I want to give all of my appreciation, because they are appreciated, but maybe not verbalized enough, for the sacrifice and the creativity and the consistency of our staff, because they're exhausted. They're exhausted. I know parents, you're exhausted. Students, you're exhausted. We're exhausted. And I think break is coming up at the right time, where we can celebrate family, and we can celebrate, having a little bit of time away and start off a fresh new year, and live every single day as positive as we can be coming into 22. And we don't know what's going to occur. But we know we're going to be continuing with our education. There's a lot of great things coming up in the third quarter. There's going to be the first ever annual junior formal, which the captains of the crazies are going to be the DJ, which will be great. Obviously, all the winter sports that are going to come up, you'll see in our podcast. We're going to try to bring in some teachers into these podcasts in the third quarter so you can hear from them. And then obviously all of the year events that start to come, because believe it or not, when February 21st arrives, that's like spring sports. And I always tell the kids everything will go by a blink of an eye. And then we can celebrate the culminating of the year at Chardon Memorial Stadium for our second ever in the new era graduation on that in that location. So there's so much to look forward to. Any shout outs you want to give before we close today? Here's my shout out, Spencer. I just was with Spencer Stephen, our custodian, and we have gone through turnover with custodians taking different jobs in different buildings, and we've have the largest building in the district. And it's usually just Spencer here with maybe a sub, and it doesn't matter. He gets the job done, and if there's details that need to be done, he's trying to do that. We saw an outlet today in one of the rooms, and he's like, "I can get that tonight on my last round. I'll make sure I get this done tonight." And it's like he's frustrated too because he wants to help, but he's a really good worker. So shout out Mr. Steven, which I never call him Mr. Just call him Spence.
I'm going to shout out our teachers too. I know that you already spoke on this, but I've had the opportunity to get to know, to work with, and I did know some of them already, but get to know, work with, and see in action many of our teachers and just what they're doing. We have some of the highest. I mean, I can't even. I step into the PLC meetings for the math department, and I am in some of the classrooms for different observations. And there may be a lot of students out there who come home and say that their math work is hard, and it is, but it is because these professionals in the math department are working so hard to help uphold a standard that, I've heard certain families reflect upon and say, it was hard during high school, but when my child got to college, they did phenomenal and they were overly prepared. And I just think there's a lot to be said for the relationships that many of our staff build, the standards that many of our staff hold. And, our students should respect that, and many of them do, and most all of them do, but just understand what a treasure they have with this staff here at the high school.
I can easily echo both of you, but I want to take this time to be grateful for my wife for everything she's allowed me to do. As you guys all know, this takes a lot of time to be here in the events and to always be racing around from different things, even, on Sunday, at a random hour here or there. So very grateful and thankful for everything she has allowed me to do here at Chardon, and look for a new year, rejuvenate our batteries, and get ready to go as we work through the last semester of this school year.
I want to be thankful for Doug Hyam and his chicken and steak segment, which I get to watch every single week. I think I'm your number one podcast viewer right now. But no, I in all seriousness, I want to thank you guys. I think no one really knows officially what sometimes the high school principals or high school assistant principals do during your day. I always get asked that question, like when you're working in the summer, like, what are you guys doing, or things like that. And from someone that knows what you're doing and understands what you're doing, and like Doug said, the time commitment with that, and time away from your families and things like that. So thank you to you guys. And ultimately, you guys make my job easier. So thank you.
Well-oiled machine, because we all have to work together, and we really appreciate all the communication that you're doing with us here at the high school, specifically so we can help all of our students. This is going to be a wrap for the Principals Podcast for this year, and we will return to the Principals Podcast in January. It will also be the last week in reflection of this year, coming out tomorrow or Friday, and it will return again come the new year. So I get to get a little break away from thinking and typing and trying to market this place the way we do. So many blessings to all, and to all, good night.
Go Toppers.
Go Toppers.